Okay, that's it. Okay, so can you still see my screen?
Mhm.
You see that that discovery that I have on the screen?
The web page?
Yeah, this initial one-on-one coaching session. Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, hi, Brianna. Thank you for joining the challenge. So, this is your initial consultation, and today we're just gonna kind of set some goals for you. We're gonna talk about, the different tasks that are gonna be required during the challenge, and we're also going to set up your heart rate zones, so that way you have guidance in terms of how to exercise. And we're going to talk about what the blue zone and the orange zones are and any other goals, also your readiness and what you expect from me as your coach, and any questions you may have. Okay, I'm going off of your responses from that intake form that you completed when you signed up. And so I got that data, and you and I are going to discuss based on your current activity of what you're doing with exercise, with nutrition, and everything. Okay.
Hmm.
So tell me real quick, what are you trying to accomplish? And what are your goals for this 6 weeks? And we're gonna try to make, goals that are smart goals. We know what smart goals are, right? So what are you trying to accomplish?
To build more muscle and lose body fat.
Okay. All right. And why is this important to you?
To create a long-lasting relationship with my health and to stay younger for longer.
Okay. And why is this important? Why is a long-lasting relationship with health and staying younger for longer? Why is that important to you?
To prevent health issues in the future.
And let's dig a little deeper. Kind of think the emotional part of why. What is the deeper meaning for you to prevent health issues in the future?
To not decrease my quality of life and to increase my confidence.
How about just an idea? I kind of I want you to think a little bit more deeper. So, you're a young girl, you eventually gonna have a family, you're gonna have kids, right? Are you thinking that way, that you want to be a healthy mom and have a long lasting life so that you're there for your kids and your grandkids and be around your family? I mean, kind of like that kind of thing. Is that something that it's interest to you?
Yes.
So you had said not decrease quality of life and increase
Confidence.
confidence. Okay. And um, okay. So if after these thoughts, could you put it all in one kind of one statement? I want you can start with that.
I want to increase my quality of life and prolong my life to hopefully make it through more of life's moments,
Hopefully to make it.
to see most of life's moments.
Okay. Um, so tell me a little bit about your current exercise habits. Okay. What are you doing? And we're going to talk a little bit about how many times you're actually going to the gym and how consistent you've been. But tell me, what is your current exercise habits right now?
I take about 2 walks a day, 1 to 2 walks that are about 10 to 15 minutes each. And then I was trying to
You
work
said 10,
out,
sorry, you said 10 to 15 minutes?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and try to hit the gym about 4 times a week, 2 leg days, 2 arm days.
Now you said try, right? That will be in an ideal world. What is actually happening? Because we got to find kind of what is reality and what your goals are, and how we can kind of find the middle so that you feel like you're accomplishing something and you're not feeling defeated because you're not hitting everything you want to do. So, what is actually happening? It sounds like this is what your goal is, but are you able to do this consistently? Or what is the most consistent that you've been? What is it exactly that's most consistent?
I was super consistent about hitting about 4 to 5 times before getting my dog.
Okay.
And
So
then he took up all of our time and I was sick. So that put a pause for about 3 weeks.
So you think right now, since you got, okay, hold on. Uh, that was getting, before puppy. Now, after puppy, what's happened? Because you've had the puppy for 3 weeks now,
Yeah.
right? So what's happening since the puppy? You still can do
Okay.
your walk? Your walks are still your,
So no, so the walks is after puppy.
oh, the walks is,
So then it was only gym. So I was doing the gym 4 to 5 times before the puppy.
okay, okay.
And
So,
then now,
so this is after puppy, okay? It's your walks, 1 to 2. Okay. And this is something that I think I can post it in your wall, and it will be a good reminder for us to have and always review and see how we're doing. So, gym 4 times. Okay, that was before puppy. And after puppy, the walks and the gym is what?
from last week and this week, about 2 times
Two
a
times?
week.
Okay, that's pretty. And then what you can do, just a suggestion, since it's only 2 times, if you do full body workouts those 2 times, that's more than really good. And then, your walks every day, that is pretty doable and pretty consistent until the puppy, it's no longer an issue. Okay, 2 times. That's pretty good. Okay. So during the challenge, right? All this activity counts. Okay. You have an Apple Watch. So all you gotta do, you can sync your watch. We also provide a heart rate monitor, but you decided not to because you have your watch and it's just easier as always with you, and you already used to tracking your activity with your watch. So there is a way, and I think you already figured that out, how to sync your watch to the coursing app. So all you got to do, you're going to start your workouts every time just the way you do, and it will sync it. And any activity counts towards your minutes of exercise. So based on your intake form, you had said that you wanted to exercise again 3 to 4 days a week for 60 minutes. So that puts us at about 180 to 240 minutes, right? So I think, it will help with being more consistent, with achieving smaller goals, and kind of not necessarily feeling defeated. I think it's a good idea to set yourself up for starting with 180, your lower end, and it's what's looking like what you're doing, two times a week, which is what, 60, that's 120 minutes of weight training and then your walk. So it sounds like about right to start with 180 and then see how you do. If you surpass that goal, then hey, it's icing on the cake. But by reaching that, then you're gonna be feeling really good about it. So if we set it up at 180, are you okay with that? You think that will be good to start with? Kind of makes sense?
Um, the issue is with my arm workouts don't necessarily raise my heart rate that high because they're
I,
not.
yeah. Yeah.
So, and I
Absolutely.
barely sweat when I do them.
Yeah. So again, my suggestion is, Brianna, if you're going to the gym twice a week, do full body. You know what I'm saying? Do full body on those 2 days. That's going to help you in increasing your heart rate a little higher, potentially, depending on the intensity and if you're taking rest in between. Um, but the goal are going to be of those 180 minutes, if we decide that that's what you're going to do, 80%, actually, you're pretty on target. 80% of those 180 minutes is going to be in that zone that is the blue zone, that is typically where we are when we are weight training. Okay. The other 20%, which is going to be, if you think 180, 20% of that is, can you do the math in your head? So let's see, 180, hold on. 180 times 20%. We're talking about 36 minutes and 36 minutes for the whole week of high intensity. So that means in any of those days that you go to the gym, after you're done with your workouts, if you do some sprints on the treadmill for 10 minutes, 15 minutes each day, you're done. You include your orange zone, the high intensity minutes that we want to have, we want to see to help you, increase your stamina, heart rate, and all of that, the benefits of the EPOC. You know what EPOC is? Is that
Mhm.
afterburn, what we talk about, the afterburn, by including those high intensity exercises. But that's all really in 180 minutes. That's only 36 minutes a week. And if you do that, you will hit that. You will hit that in your workouts. So you just gotta, get on the treadmill, or even the Stairmaster will do it. The Stairmaster will totally get you over to the orange zone. So you don't even have to do like super crazy high intensity. Like the Stairmaster really does it for me. So those are just a couple of ideas. But do you feel good about then the 180 minutes? Is just start there and see how you do in achieving
Yeah.
your 80/20. Okay, awesome. Uh, 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 uh. uh. So, and how long have you been consistent with exercise? I know that sometimes we're a little bit on and off, but how long do you think you've been kind of on a regular exercise? Yes, sometimes we're sick and we missed a couple weeks or we go on vacation, but you always get back to it. How long have you been in this journey
Um, Probably since end of July
of last year?
of 2024
Oh,
through November, and then moving in the holidays. And then I started it back up in January up until 3 weeks.
okay.
Or, well, yeah, up
So
until
you
like
you
two,
started
three
in
weeks.
January and you're still at it, so yeah. Okay. Are you happy with your current results you're getting with your current exercise habits? Or is there anything
Um,
that you would like to be able to do?
the scale wasn't really moving when I was consistently working out through January and half of February, but my diet, I was seeing some fat loss in areas,
And you
but
were
then
doing you were doing the carnivore, right?
the animal-based diet.
Okay. Which is not the carnivore diet?
No, it's whole foods and primarily high protein.
Okay. So it's kind of like a modified carnivore, right? I thought
Yeah.
that, okay. Carnivore, modified carnivore, whole foods. Okay. So you were seeing some results in terms of how your clothes were fitting and everything?
Barely.
Okay. What benefits did you see other than the weight? Because you said the scale wasn't moving, your clothes were not necessarily. What did you see that was new and improvement?
Um, just reduce snacking due to really focusing on only eating 3 meals a day and some broth fat reducing, but that was really it. The scale wasn't really moving. There was not a ton of benefit.
How long did you do it for?
Um, Consistently for 6 straight weeks, but
6 to 8?
6 straight weeks, but
Oh,
now we consistently grocery shop that way.
okay, good.
And then we just don't restrict um like going out, enjoying life, but at home the groceries we buy are consistently healthier.
So, okay. So let me just, so we said 180 times. So that means 144 minutes in your blue zone and 36 minutes on your orange zone. Does that help you kind of give you more clarity that it's pretty doable to get in that orange zone? It's only 36 minutes for the whole week. So, I mean, you can knock it out in 2 days or, break it up and do like, 10-minute sprints 3 days a week, and that will do it as well. Something like that.
Hmm.
So, does that kind of makes it look like, okay, that's not too bad. That doesn't look like too bad. Okay. Uh, so the importance of heart rate monitoring, and that's what your watch does, is you will know, and as you know, you see how your heart rate is moving, and that is just scientific. It's the response of your body. It's the response that you get from your heart, and that's the most accurate way to really measure the intensity of your exercise. So there's no guessing. So that's why it's so important to train with heart rate and understanding and knowing your heart rate. So it's just no guessing, and you know where you are, you know what you're doing, and that way you can hit your goals. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about food. So we already talked about that a little bit. You were doing the carnivore, but now you continue grocery shopping that way. And so you just relax the carnivore restriction and just you continue eating that way, but not as restrictive, right? Is that what I heard you say?
Hmm.
Okay. And how long have you been doing it that way?
Um, I'd say about a month now.
Okay. And you think you feel happy about it like that? You think it's working better?
Yeah, as
Okay.
long as I'm counting calories,
Okay. How long have you been again? Since you kind of went a little bit more modified?
a month.
A month? Okay. All right. If you could improve one thing about that approach to food that will give you better results, what would that be? If you had it in a perfect world, what do you think will give you?
Mm, off. Um, mm, I would say there's nothing to improve on except for the fact that healthy food isn't always just as fun, but that's not an issue to that is able to be improved.
Yeah. You can make it fun with, spices and, like there's so many recipes that make healthy foods yummy. We just kind of need to look for really good recipes and things like that. But I think, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, now we got about 5 minutes, so let's see if we can finish this up. So my proposal to you, with the program, we will give you that a, a healthy foods list with everything, veggies, proteins, carbs, everything included. You can print it, it's really colorful. You can print it, keep it in your refrigerator, and that can help you, for grocery shopping. We got recipes with healthy foods. So you like to cook, you like to pull up recipes everywhere. Why don't you try and look at some of those recipes in the coursing app? We have plenty of those. We have great ideas for like breakfast recipes and snack recipes. um, we give you all that. So that can be a good way for you to make healthy foods, taste delicious or fun. So look at
Hmm.
those. I think, I don't know if you have, but there's some really, really good recipes there. So give it a try because I know you like to cook. And so we
Hmm.
also give you portion guides. So I know that you have tracked with your macros, but sometimes if to make it easy, we do the portions, a thumb, a cup of rice, or a fist, or the size of your palm for protein, or a fist for your veggies. So those are really easy ways to, when you are up and about and you don't know, you don't have a scale, that's a good way to measure. The palm of your hand is a good size for a protein. A fist is a good size for veggies, for fruits and vegetables. A thumb is good for fats and things like that. So those are really helpful to help with portions. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, what else? So do you have a goal for weight loss, Brie? What's your weight right now?
142 now.
142 pounds. And what is your goal?
135.
Okay, 135. Okay, that's very doable. That's not a lot. Okay. Um, yeah, that is easy. It's very, very doable to lose 1 or 2 pounds a week.
Hmm.
So, and not having a lot of restrictions, just being very mindful of your eating. So you can achieve this goal in, 2 months or so, or three top, if you really get consistent with it. Do you have a scale, Ray?
Hmm.
You do? Can you please add a weight on? Have you tried to add a weight on the scale on the app? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've tried to add the weight and it doesn't.
Oh, it's because of the fat. Yes, yes, we talked about it. So, yeah, we'll take care of that. We talked about it. Okay. So definitely the commitment is to try to weigh once a week. That's gonna be very helpful to just keep track, to just keep an eye on the weight, and once a week is more than just optimal. Not we don't need to be weighing any more, any more frequent than that. Now, like in a scale, what do you think? In a scale of 0 to 5 in terms of your weight loss, how confident do you feel from 0 to 5? Five, you're super confident that you can achieve this weight loss in the next 6 weeks.
Mm, I would say 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay. So we typically say if it's less than 4, we want to adjust a little bit, but you're kind of there, 3 to 4, right? So it's still doable. And then with my support, and all the tools that you probably haven't tried all of them, I think, you're on a good way to achieving your goal. And in terms of the exercise, what do you think is, how comfortable do you feel that you can do, 36 minutes in the orange zone?
That's I feel like it would be a problem because it's not my goal to do interval training or to do sprints or running.
Well, but do you understand what that will do for your weight loss and burning fat and burning calories? It really, what it is, it revs up your body, your metabolism to the point that after you're done with the workout, your body is more efficient and still burning calories. So, total calorie burn when you incorporate a little bit of interval training in your routines is way more. So, it's actually going to help you with just a little bit of 36 minutes a week. It might make a difference in breaking that scale, that weight on the scale for you.
Mm,
So it's not a lot and it could give you, a little like big bang for your buck kind of
mm,
situation. Okay. Just give it a try. Just give it again, that it's not a lot. Like I said, you can do it in through 10 minutes for 3 days, 3 days, 10, 15 minutes, or you can break it up into 15, 15, 20 minutes each. But I mean, even in training, Brianna, when you are lifting, what would do that is a full body workout, but keep the intensity moving faster, higher reps, and moving faster, less reps. I mean, less rest in, and that would also could keep your heart rate up higher and maybe hit those zones as well. So that's another way. Okay. Um, well, this is pretty much everything I wanted to go over. What do you expect from me, Bree, for this challenge? What do you want from me as your coach?
to log on and make sure you're looking at my statistics.
Do you want me accountability and keep you informed?
Hmm.
Okay. So I am taking notes so that we always have this present. I can load this up in your app and you and I can both see it and we can always kind of go back and okay, this is what I said I was going to do. And it's a good way to kind of always have a reminder of our goals. It's only 6 weeks. It goes super fast and you'll see it'll be here before you know it. And if you keep consistent, little bit at a time, you will see results. Okay. In stress management, we also have some mindfulness guided meditations that are super good. And we want everybody we are all stressed out in the world. Everything is stressful these days. And it's really good to just take a moment. And we have different, there's from 5 minutes to the longest one, I think, is 45 minutes. So you can do your guided meditations. And we really want you guys to do maybe 2 a week. Just, when you have those very stressful moments or a hard day at work and just little breathing exercises for 5 minutes, it makes a huge difference in your stress management and your health overall.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, Brianna, thank you much for your time. And if you have any questions after we hang up or we finish this Zoom call, you know that you can communicate with me through the app. We have a private message, and I also have a wall, but you can always communicate privately through the app. Okay. And we'll be kind of going back and forth real time. All right.
Okay.
So good night and thank you. Let me see how I stopped. Oh, there we go. All right. Ready? Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night. You're welcome.
Bye.